When I plan a lesson, I want to start with a high quality instructional resource because I want to be able to provide the students a resource that meets high standards. It meets the Kentucky State standards, and it's going to be a resource that allows them to utilize their critical thinking skills. We've been talking a little bit about visual media. I like the interdisciplinary literacy practices because they make sense to me. They're logical. They connect all the areas of content, and they do it in a way that adds value. So students are seeing different sources of text. They're seeing different ways that they can incorporate literacy in writing. And no matter what you teach, it's principles that apply to all content areas. Anything can be a text because it communicates a message. Everywhere we look, we see infographics, and I want the students to realize that by learning how to read those, how to analyze them, and even how to create them, they're actually contributing back to their environment, back to society. They're not just consuming media, but they're creating media. Take all of these things and you put them together, you're getting infographics. It has visual representation, just like the people walking and the people playing. And they're doing it with an intended audience for a higher purpose.
Visual representations in them, so they're like easier to read and understand.
Yes, that's the element, visual representation.
One of the things that Ms. Hardin has us do a lot is look at different sources that each have their own point of views and then come to a conclusion. And then, well, we've been doing projects, but you could still write about that. You know, like after looking at a bunch of different sources with different point of views, you come to your own perspective and then you write about that and tell other people about your perspective.
What does it have that I tell all of you always have to have? Sources. You have to have your source, right?
And then as you write, that really helps you like kind of understand the material better.
This is my 16th year of teaching, and I have taught a lot of grades. And no matter which grade I've taught, I've been using ILPs. You don't think about them because you don't think of yourself as a literacy teacher, but you are. We're all literacy teachers. We're all writing teachers. Some of us just have a little more different focus on content.
While there's a lot of information and words, it's split up well because there's graphics that go along with them. Like they talk about your footprint and there's a foot.
There's a teacher who's assigned as the writing teacher, and that's fantastic. But what happens a lot of times are students are like, okay, I'm now entering the magical land that is writing class or English language arts class. So I can only read and I can only write when I enter through this magical portal. And only in this class will I use those critical thinking skills to do that. And that really frustrates me because I love writing and I love rhetoric and I love literacy. And students need to know how to do those things in math and in social studies and in science. And I think by showcasing the ILPs, it's helping other content area teachers too see that these practices are things that you guys do.
Teamwork and collaboration is a big part of what we do, especially in my class this year, because we've made a documentary as a group, we've made a podcast as a team, and you have to really get into it with your partner to be able to work together effectively. You have to divvy up the work and you have to talk to each other about how you're gonna do everything.
Like on the first one over there, there's like perceived abilities, and there's a bunch of statistics that one next to it.
And you can combine those to make something better than what you could have done individually.
You know what's funny is 16 years is a long time to do anything but with teaching. And over those 16 years, I've taught in public and private schools. I mean, I've seen it all. And no matter which school district I've been in or which type of school, there's one thing that's been common in all of them, and that's that education's always changing. And I know changes are sometimes scary, but what I like about the ILPs is it's not really like a curriculum. That it's not saying, hey, you have to take extra trainings, you have to, adapt a new curriculum. So start small and then add on as you go, and definitely ask for help along the way. Then you're going to work together, collaborate to complete your analysis tool. You're going to analyze the graphic that you chose. I think if the ILPs are utilized in the way they're meant to be utilized, I do think it's helping students learn the content and not just learn it, but take it with them and remember it and connect it. They want to learn. They want a challenge. They want a hard text. Really, when it comes down to it, I think the students, as they accomplish their task using complex text, they're understanding, oh, okay, I just conquered that. I can add on more. Now I can do this next level. And that's why I think it's really important to have complex text.
When you're younger, it's simple. You write something out that's easily understood. But now that we're in high school, or even when you're in late middle school, you have to reread the text, you have to rewrite what you're trying to say, you have to really critically think about what you want to write, how you want to say it, and how you want people to perceive that information.
And I think it's really important for students to be a literate citizen, because literacy is a way to empower them and inform them to make the decisions they need to make in life. Why do you think infographics are so important in our lives?
Because it relays information to the people who need it.
And to solve the problems that are already out there, and to connect to one another to create that community. And I think that when students are lifelong learners, it's not just about them anymore. It's about the people around them and how they can give back and really enhance and make their life meaningful and fulfilling and help the people around them at the same time.